Hi guys, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations with another short video on a vintage pachinko machine. Certainly encourage you to subscribe if you enjoy watching these videos and visit the magicpachinkorestorations.com website for more information. This is one of my favorite machines for sure. This is a 1974 Nishijin Power Flash, and this is the Thunderbird variation of the machine. There's also another variation of the machine that's called the Chinaman. It has a circular center attraction, and there's another tulip down here. So it's 10 tulips instead of 9, and a different center attraction, but the rest of it is the same, and it functions the same. This was manufactured in This one was manufactured in 1974. One of the reasons that I call, the reason that I call the business Magic Pachinko Restorations is because for the past almost 50 years now, I've been a semi-professional magician. So that's where the magic came from. And with the obvious card theme, when I first saw these, I said, oh yeah, I've got to have one of these for sure. I have one in my own personal collection. I have a Thunderbird in my own personal collection, and I've probably restored 4 or 5 of these. They are a challenge to restore. They are a Model B, but there's a lot more to them than just the Model B, and I'll explain that when I turn it around. This one had been, I don't know, it always amazes me what some previous owners do to these pachinko machines. Not the customer that's getting this, but somebody before him. The entire lock mechanism, the latch mechanism was gone. The lock was gone. The latch was gone. Fortunately, I've got a number of scrap machines. I was able to replace the lock and the latch system. This one did take a hit at some point in time right here, so the S of super is broken, and unfortunately I did not have another one of these pieces. But yeah, it was interesting. There was no transformer on this. This is one of the machines called a special electric. This does take a 24-volt power supply, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But it did clean up pretty well. As always, everything comes off, everything gets cleaned, everything gets reassembled. This is a new play field. I've got a great deal on some cherry. So these are cherry now rather than just pine. They're a little narrower, but I made them a little bit longer for stability. So let me turn this around, show you the back side of it. So this does have a power cord that's attached to a 24-volt AC transformer. And off of this, there are 3 wires. There's 2 blue and a yellow. And if you use the 2 blue, you get 24 volts. If you use a blue and a yellow, you get 12. So it's nice because what you can do is you can go up in here and use the 24 for the internal solenoids and such, and then the 12 volts for just the normal lights. This, again, is a Model B. It has the leaf switch for the jackpot, and it has the leaf switch here for the ball out light. And again, those are just both 12 volts. Now, unfortunately, inside this, I call them a fuse box, there was supposed to be a circuit board, or what's called a rectifier board. And what that does is it takes 24-volt AC and converts it to 24-volt DC, which then powers the solenoids. That was missing. That was taken right out. I don't know why. Somebody may have needed it for another project, but fortunately they're relatively easy to make. A rectifier is simply 4 diodes in a certain position that as the AC comes in, it forces the flow to go only one way and converts it to DC. So that was all taken care of internally. It was a challenge. It took me a while to figure it all out, but that's all done. So again, if you look at the back of this, this is pretty typical of what you see when you look at a Nishijin Model B. So down here, there's 2 latches that hold this portion against the machine, and then there's another turnbuckle screw over here. And when you loosen this, Now this is what makes this machine special. So you can swing this open, and there's a second board. This is the main board, which normally the guts are attached to, but this is a special board here that the guts are on one side, and basically this is where the balls fall in and run down into the seesaw. So here's your ball out light here, and this is the light for when you get a jackpot. So if you take a look at this, what you see is 4 solenoids, and they are connected to these plastic pieces that have the little brass pieces that stick out. So as these solenoids fire, this one goes up, this one pushes down. Again, same thing on this side. This one pushes down, this one comes up, and the all of the tulips have little arms soldered to them. So when this arm goes up and down, it will push the arm of the tulip up and down. So I'll show you the way that this works when I turn it back around, but this all got taken apart. Every piece gets taken off, it gets cleaned, it gets just as dirty as everything else. And then I had to rewire the power to it and so on and so forth. So, but that's what makes this machine special, if you will. So we close it up. I don't recommend opening these up on a day-to-day basis. Some of this one lines up really well. Some of them don't line up all that well. So you really don't need to open these up unless you have to for maintenance, and there really shouldn't be any problem with the machine. So you get this screwed back tight, and then down here you want to make sure that this piece lines up, and then you just slide these over and tighten these up, and that makes sure that it stays in place where it belongs. And then we'll load it up just like a regular Model B. So up here is your ball dump latch. Again, I've got it marked in red. You want to make sure that these two pieces are together, so that when the balls go in, they'll go over to the jackpot and stop. To get the balls to dump out of the machine, it's a release of that latch, and then they'll all go down the dump chute. Okay. The other thing you want to make sure of is that your seesaw is in the right position. Again, a red arrow. Push up on that little rod. Make sure the seesaw is this way rather than that way. Okay. So so we know the balls are flowing down through the where they're supposed to. Now, if you have a power flash, you're going to need a lot of pachinko balls. This machine pays out a lot and goes through balls like nobody's business. So if you get one of these, make sure you've got plenty of pachinko balls for it. One interesting thing I found is there's a number 154 on the spec tag here, and I think it was on the main board. There was also a 154, so obviously that's some sort of a pairing system that the Japanese used. So let's get this turned around and show you what a power flash does. If you're going to buy one of these on eBay or something like that, I will definitely caution you to make sure that what you're buying is a fully functional power flash, and you need to ask some very specific questions of whoever's trying to sell it. And the main question is, does it work properly? Does it power up and work properly? And if that answer is no, then I would stay away from it unless you want to buy it and send it to a restorer who can make it work. But if you're going to attempt it on your own, these are a little tough to work on. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to show you how a power flash is designed to work. So there's a set of tulips here, and there's a set of tulips here, and if you notice, these are orange, this is yellow, orange and yellow, and then the center one is pink. So if you get a ball in the center, right up here, watch. So it triggers a solenoid, or actually two solenoids that will open the tulips on both sides, and then internally it goes down and opens the pink tulips. So right now all of the tulips are open, and this is where you will get a lot of wins because they're all big targets, they're easy to hit. Unfortunately, this one is blocked, this one is blocked when they're closed, and so are the yellow ones when they're closed. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you do get a ball in the yellow one on the left side, it will close all of the tulips on the left side. And if you get one on the right side, it closes all the tulips on the right side. Okay. So again, down the center, it opens everything. Yellow will close, yellow will close. Now, if you come in if you don't get right down the middle and go in on one side, it will open one side or the other side. So that's the way the solenoids work, and that's what's really important if you decide you want to buy one of these. Now also, the way this is set up internally is if you get a ball in the king tulip, it runs down through each of the solenoid, or each of the tulips, and opens it. That's internally. All right, so now that we've got them all open, I'll play a little bit here. Don't want the video to get too long, but we'll play and you can see it in action. Once the tulips close up, it's a lot harder to win. So hope you enjoy it. That's a Nishijin Power Flash Thunderbird.